Here at All Over the Road New Orleans, the podcast. We'd like to thank all of our listeners, followers, and subscribers for 4 good seasons, and welcome to the show.
All Over the Road New Orleans is brought to you by CoinTrader Inc. Mind your money, and recorded in front of a live studio audience.
Good evening and welcome to Tucker Carlson Tonight. Sometimes you wonder just how filthy and dishonest our news media are.
Yeah, baby. Not only today are we in front of a live studio audience, we're in a big, giant crowd of people. Yes, indeed. We promise to give you the best of everything. We promise to give you story after story after story. William Wallis for America's here with my friend Ted Semper. I am the king of all podcasting, yes. There's a lot going on right now. Everybody loves a little dirty laundry. Who doesn't? Who doesn't?
That's right. Right.
Donald Trump's in trouble. We got some state elections coming up. We got gas, bananas, all that stuff on All Over the Road, the podcast. Here we go.
Fake news. All these things you heard. He's going to jail. He's going to get indicted. They got the girl.
You think that him being indicted is fake news?
Yeah, a fake news.
But he's being indicted today.
Yes, all fake. When he walked out of there,
But he is being indicted today.
yes.
That was no whisper.
Of course, there's the great Glenn Fry, the Eagles of Dirty Laundry. We got William Wallis for America here.
Freedom!
That's
his freedom call.
He's
That's his freedom
overmodulating.
call,
He's so
yeah.
excited.
Yeah.
You know, I tell you, and, you know, I got William on here because William, he follows everything, when it comes to politics. And, Ted is more of our political
Observer.
person.
Let me just say that.
What's that?
Observer.
Well, no, you're more
Yeah, well,
political.
I got something to say, but we all have something to say about
But
politics.
you're more political than me.
Well, maybe than you.
We're brothers in broadcasting, but you're a little more political than me.
Yeah.
I'm not real political.
I guess so. I let it bother me more than you. Is what
I
it
got
is.
William here because here's the deal.
Yeah.
I was telling Ted a while back, okay? Ted does all the posting on the Instagram, all over the road Instagram. He did something on Donald Trump, and I'm sitting there reading it, watching baseball, doing something, scratching my nuts. I don't know. And
Hand down his pants. Whatever.
Get your hands in the pants.
As a matter of fact, I was sleepwalking the other night. Okay, I'm glad you mentioned that. I was sleepwalking the other night. I'm walking all over the house. I'm sleeping. I'm walking. And then all of a sudden, I stopped in the middle of the hallway upstairs, right by the laundry room. All right? And I'm standing there, and I had my hand in my pants. Okay. It's a comfort thing for males. I mean, it's not that they're doing anything weird.
Because you just want to know they're there.
You just, sometimes it's comfy just to shove your hand in. Hey,
Yeah, it's a little comfy.
Yeah,
make sure it's still there. And,
Yeah.
It's a little security feeling,
It's a bird.
I totally relate.
It's
totally.
wait. It's a bird in the hand.
Bernard.
It's a
I
bird in
guess
the
so.
hand.
That's
what
right.
it is.
Yeah.
By the way, I had to postpone my teeth because of.
Yeah, we'll
But
have to get
anyway,
a teeth update because
we can't get too far
on the
ahead.
previous episode we were like it's going to be happening by
I would
about
have had
right
the teeth by
now,
now.
but
But
we got to back up
we had
and
some things.
talk about that in a few minutes.
We're going to talk about that in a few minutes.
Yeah.
But William Wallis is here. William, welcome. He's
Thank
here
you,
again.
sir. Appreciate
But
you.
anyway, to get back to that. So I'm standing in the hall. I'm sleepwalking. I got my hands in my pants. Martha comes out the room and goes, "What are you doing?" Now, when she said, "What are you doing?" when someone spoke to me, I woke up. I wake up. I got my hands in my pants. I'm standing in the hallway, and I said, "I don't know."
Yeah.
I truly didn't know.
Well, that's weird.
But we've got a big, as a matter of fact, are we going to call Trosclair on this show?
No, he's not available for this episode, but in the near future we should have as Brandon Trosclair he's mentioning, who's
Running for Secretary of
a
State.
Secretary of State candidate and possibly a Trump,
And he talks
Well,
like a coon ass.
endorsed,
He's a coon ass guy. Doesn't he
but
talk
we'll
like a
see.
coon ass? He's got the coon ass
He's
accent.
from Gonzales.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
So,
you people that follow us and listen
Yeah.
all over the world, you're going to love the way this guy talks. He's kind of like the guy we had on with the Rougarou guy. Remember we had the Rougarou?
That was Kyle.
Okay, but before we do that, this is what I want to ask you.
Yeah, Kyle
Okay.
Crosby. Yeah.
Okay, I'm
I
ready,
don't
I'm ready.
follow this. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
what's going on with the Donald Trump thing? Is this guy? Do they got him? Are they going to get him, or what is? What's the deal with that? What's going on?
It's gotten to a point whether they really got him or not, where they want him, or whether they don't got him, and whether he's got a way out. One way or the other, they're not worried about whether they. Let me put it this way, my opinion, I don't think they really care whether they've really truly got him or not. They do care. They want to get him, but they're more also very concerned about creating enough of a narrative in the meantime.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they don't. Like I said, they would love to. They would love to get him. They'd love to get him in jail, but they also know that if they don't get him in jail, that dragging him through this mud is still getting him and helping him lose some of his base, in their opinion.
Yeah.
But the reality is, we're seeing in the polls and fundraising that it's actually helping him a little bit.
They do it. They
He's
say,
got a
they say
what?
bad publicity is better than no publicity.
Yeah.
And then that's true. But let me get back to what I was saying about
Go
Ted.
ahead.
Ted does all the Instagram stuff. So I'm sitting there.
Yeah.
Like I got interrupted by myself. Not only do I interrupt other people, I interrupt myself all the time. So I've said, so William, I'm sitting there, I'm watching, I'm watching baseball, and I see that Ted had something on there about Donald Trump on the Instagram. And I send Ted a text. I said, Ted, get Donald Trump off the Instagram. Because, I'm the boss. Let's face it, I'm the boss.
Well, it's your show.
I'm
It's your
the boss.
show.
But I don't act like the boss.
No,
Do
you
I?
don't. But,
I don't.
but
sometimes
I respect it. It's your show. I get
it's
it.
our show.
But of course, I just go ahead and post things. And sometimes she's like, nah, I don't want to do that. I don't want, okay, now take it down. But in this case, you did say, but what else did you say?
Remember what I said?
I'm kind of tired of his ass.
I said, first of all, I'm tired of his ass. I said, second of all, nobody really cares about him anymore.
Oh, you said something. Also, you said the females are tired.
the females.
I think that was the one,
because
right?
our audience is heavy female.
Of Trump, you mean? People are tired of Trump.
We have
Well, the
no,
females
All
are
Over the
tired
Road, the
of Trump.
podcast
Yeah.
is a very heavy female audience.
Oh, wow.
Very heavy. Oh,
Really?
yeah. You wouldn't know it, but it is.
Is that because you have me on here frequently?
More than likely.
Probably
You and Derek both have those
They're going,
beautiful red chest hairs. And that probably does it. Probably does it.
Right.
What is
and I
Derek
don't
calls?
sleep-
Derek calls them what? Chest.
No, I don't know. The chest hairs.
something.
Yeah, I don't know.
And-
It's something. Yeah, you said something.
And I don't walk around at night with my hands in my pants like you do either.
It's just a man thing. Guys do. They relax. They watch TV.
That's what I
just,
mean. Yeah,
my grandsons do it. My grandsons do it.
Yeah, it's a guy thing.
Yeah, it's a guy. It's a
Okay,
kid.
no,
It's
for
a
sure.
kid. It's a guy. It's a boys to men thing.
Maybe
That's
I'm
what
just
it is.
not proud enough. I don't know.
But you know about Trump, I agree with William Wallace for America. But like in their mind,
But wait,
the,
let me
the
finish. Let me
Democrat,
finish,
the
Teddy.
left,
Let me finish.
okay, sure, it's your show. Remember? Yeah. Go ahead.
So I get on Ted. Listen. So I get on Ted. I said,
Yeah.
take it down.
And I took it down.
And then the next day, all this stuff comes up about Trump, and I now I want to talk about Trump.
Oh, Don, you're a little controversial. You're talking about illegal immigration. I said it's illegal.
Well, it's kind of like if you would watch the news and maybe anticipate things happening, you would have known that was going to happen the next day. But I'm not going to take my time out and to explain everything to Vic.
Okay, so
No,
you shouldn't have
Because
to.
Vic don't listen sometimes.
I don't.
Like, okay.
It's
Yeah,
true.
it's
It's
like-
true.
Wapner on the 3:30.
Right, exactly. So yeah, in the left's mind, they have Trump, and whether they get him behind bars or not, I mean,
Yeah.
to them, it's like, yeah, that would be like the big prize.
Yeah,
I
that'd be
guess.
the prize, but their second
Yeah.
prize is also just getting them, getting him all muddy.
Yeah, because at this point,
Because
whether
here-
it's Biden or whoever is the Democrat nominee, they can say we got to keep that felon out of the office because he's indicted and he's been arrested. Just they have that to say now, and he has been arrested. I mean,
And there's
No,
more.
although-
It's even deeper than that. It's like,
Yeah.
do they get the prize? Like get him in jail? Do they just get the benefit of dragging through the mud? Or the other option is they've got other lawsuits that are getting ready to come up against him.
Yeah.
And so, how late in the year this year do they do that? That would affect him while he's running for office. Like, then the judge is calling court cases when he's supposed to be doing a debate on TV or something.
That's the way they are. Very dishonest.
But none of it has anything to do with the woman that has that is the oldest profession woman, the hooker woman,
the Stormy
Davis.
Don't you find? Here's something funny to think about. In all the court documents, they're using her porn name, Stormy Daniels. They don't call her by her real name. All the court documents have her as Stormy Daniels.
Well, that's her stage name, of course.
That's her stage name, but what's her real name?
I don't know.
Okay,
And nobody knows.
So, but is this part of it?
No, it's not. I mean, well, she's part of it, of him. However,
What is the biggest misconception about Stormy Daniels?
That I'm a liar.
legally, aren't they supposed to be using her real name, or did she change her name legally
Maybe
to
her,
Stormy
maybe her name
Daniels?
is legally
What are they
Stormy
trying to get him
Daniels.
for? Tax evasion? Or are they trying to get him for Stormy
No,
Davis?
no.
Nah, it's
So-
like, go ahead.
Is it
You
Davis?
probably
What's her name?
understand it
Stormy
better
what?
than I do. Stormy Daniels.
Daniels, okay.
Yeah.
Basically, the campaign paid her hush money And I'm summarizing, give you the gist of it. Basically, they paid her hush money. And they paid it to her like right before the campaign or sometime during the campaign.
Well, everybody knew that. That was in the news.
Right. There's some question.
Yeah, it's been in the news. You're right.
But
and this is 7 or 8 years ago now.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, a long time. It was like, 6 years ago, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but now they're trying to determine whether he paid her, out of campaign funds or out of his personal account, and which one would have been legal, which would have been illegal, on how the hush money was paid. So it's not a question of whether it was good to pay her hush or legal to pay her hush money.
Because that's not illegal.
Yeah, but that's not illegal.
From what I understand.
The Clintons did it. I mean, come on.
But it's not against the law to pay somebody to not say something.
Right. But they're looking at the timing of when she was paid and out of what account she was paid. And now they're now they're saying that the statute of limitations have passed.
By the way, I do a lot of work kneeling and standing as well. Thank you very much.
So now that there's a question whether it was even legal for Bragg to bring this against him because the statute of limitations has passed, and is a violation of the Fifth or Sixth Amendment, I think it is, that they haven't even stated what the crime is. Bragg didn't say you're being charged for this crime, which is
it's misappropriation of campaign funds is the crime.
Well, that would be the crime, but they haven't stated a crime in the original documentation filed against Trump.
So all this stuff has to do with Stormy Daniels, for real?
It all has to do with Stormy Daniels.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Right.
That's what they're saying.
But that's
weird.
one lawsuit. They're saying there's another lawsuit that's going to be coming out in Georgia based on Trump's phone call to the Secretary of State in Georgia about some elections or not. About the last election.
Herschel Walker too?
No. About the last presidential election concerning votes. Whether votes should be counted or not. And again, I'm summarizing because it's a big, long, detailed explanation, and we don't have time to go into all that.
It's a totally separate issue, though, from the New York thing.
Yeah,
Exactly.
so they're probably not going to get them. It's just something that they think that they're going to get the people that are off the fence.
Right.
A lot of people think it's going to be thrown
now,
out, and maybe it will be. I don't know.
Okay,
But it's like Wallace said, William Wallace for America said, it's just a thing in the news. They can still use it for what it is.
Yeah,
what comes of it, we'll see.
And that's just it. They know. I think ultimately they know that some of the charges they're bringing against him are not going to stick, are not going to stand, and he's going to get either not guilty or a hung jury or whatever the case may be, pertaining to that. But they get the benefit of dragging him through the mud, and be able to bring it up again. And that's what they're, or like I said, in the case where the court cases start falling at the same times as campaign appearances or debates.
Okay, what's the thing? What's the thing? I'm just and I'm doing the show with William, not just because I know him, love him, and can't live without him, but because I saw this other news story because I don't watch the news anymore. I gave it up.
Sometimes you wonder just how filthy and dishonest our news media are.
There was this thing about Tennessee and Delegate Tennessee. They knocked some people from Tennessee out. What was the Tennessee thing?
So basically what happened in Tennessee, again, just the gist of it, summarizing it, there was a couple of Democrats that were elected that protested against the rules of the legislature in Tennessee. And because they protested against the rules, or they didn't, they broke the rules of the legislature. Every legislative body has their house rules.
By state.
Yeah, by state.
Okay.
Every state has like their own house rules. Like, you can't.
I never took. I never took civics. You didn't have to take civics.
Right. You can't
in the Midwest. You didn't. It wasn't part of the deal.
Where in the Midwest are you from?
Chicago. I mean, we didn't have to do that in Chicago. Yeah, we did wood shop and back in Chicago was wood shop.
Yeah.
So
basically, car mechanics and stuff like that. That's right. Yeah.
So basically, what happens is these two Democrats that protested against the outside of the House rules or what was appropriate.
Elected officials
protested not following the House rules. And again, I try to simplify things because look, I've listened to all the long explanations, and even I gotta go. You roll your eyes. Okay, basically. They went in there, bullhorns, disrespected the House rules, so they got kicked out by their own legislative body.
But the two we're talking about, didn't they participated in this demonstration?
Right, exactly.
Which could be some people could call it an insurrection.
Right, exactly. Well, if you look at the if you look at the videos,
Capitol.
If you look at the videos, they had the protesters in the in the House, in the legislative room, and they were screaming and yelling and everything, and they were causing problems. And then these two legislators were at the microphone, doing they were protesting. Bullhorn. I think the speaker gavelled them down. They didn't listen, so they disobeyed the House rules. Like, it wasn't like they were innocent. It's not like they did like anything horrible, right? But they weren't. They broke the House rules, so they got kicked out.
And so what they were doing is demonstrating. Weren't they demonstrating with some trans laws or something that are being put in effect? And so
right.
So the two representatives, they got expelled. Because I guess it can be voted on, like they're out. And so this is the most appalling thing is our vice president, Kamala Harris, goes to Nashville last week now, from today, like a week ago or so. And in defense of these two Democrat representatives that got kicked out, it doesn't even meet with the victims of the shooting in Nashville from 2 weeks ago?
Right.
Yeah, I was there when that.
The 3 kids and 3 adults. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were in Nashville at the time. Doesn't even meet with them. I mean, that's unbelievable.
Exactly. It just shows how hypocritical they are.
Yeah.
They will use the news stories to their advantage, not because they care, only if it advances their agenda, period.
Okay, everybody knows about all the new agendas that have come to be in the last 20, 30 years. We could go through them all, but there's just no reason to. And all these changes, how things are different. You know all the issues. We don't want to talk about them right now. But who's in charge of all this? Who's the one that pushes all this through? Nobody votes on this stuff. Nobody votes on what bathroom you go into, and nobody votes on all this goofy stuff. With this core, that core being taught in schools. The fact that there's no pledge, there is a pledge. There's flags, there's no flag. Who is in charge of this? There's got to be.
Now let's just see who it might be in charge of.
Could it be
this
Satan?
Most likely, very guilty. Yes.
Believe me, he's real.
Let me say this. I'm gonna share a thought on your show that I don't share on my own show sometimes.
Well, this is the show to share it on.
That's right.
We can't get any trouble on this one.
When I listen to a podcast, I'm listening to All Over the Road podcast.
No, I know you.
I mean, look, that's just So that's
who wouldn't be
exactly right.
If you don't, shame on you.
Exactly right.
That's right.
So I am in touch with my feminine side, since you say mostly women.
Yeah.
But so. I asked the same question, Vic. I'm very interested in the same question. I always go, who is thinking of this master plan? Like, everybody on the right was like, it's the left, it's the liberals, they're coming with this plan. But when you think about it, when you look at some of these guys individually, like, who's concocting all of these plans to be able to turn our country in the wrong direction, to turn its back to God, who's causing our country to turn its back to basic education, basically rights and wrongs. And now, of course, we're finding that there's books that could be considered pornographic in our libraries that our children have access to. But when parents come out and say they want those books taken out of the library, or they have limited access to those books so the children don't get them, you've got the LGBTQ group coming out and saying, oh, you're trying to ban books, you're trying to burn books. But it's anything but. Parents want to have a barrier. And I'm getting to the point here. Parents want to have a barrier. They don't want to get books removed. They want to have a barrier so their children below 18 can't get the books. Exactly like a child can't go buy alcohol, a child can't buy cigarettes, a child can't go into a strip club, a child can't buy porn at a porn store. They want to have those same barriers. And when you listen to stories like that as an example, you got to wonder, where's the common sense going in our country? Like, who's controlling the narratives in such a way that you would want children to have access to that? Yeah. And I just think, and I'll summarize it with this. I just think that there's a force of evil in our world that finds a way in our political process to be able to lead people to make the wrong decisions or protest for the wrong things, instead of us just realizing that common sense will tell you that that's a bad thing.
Well, have you ever seen a toddler with a cell phone?
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you something. My grandsons, they can pick up my phone and crack the code in 2 seconds.
That's true.
I mean, I don't know how they can do that, but but anybody that has access to a phone in the internet and socialist media, you don't need to go into and be embarrassed to buy a nudie magazine anymore. I mean, it's all, right there at your fingertips.
Right.
The thing is that I often wonder, and it just comes back to that, there are people that are in this country that are influenced by an evil power that are looking to bring the country down. And, you just have to learn to live with that, and if we can't get a fair election to get people to change things, well, then we're in a lot of trouble. Now, we got a big election coming up for Secretary of State in Louisiana. There's a guy in there now. What's the guy's name, William?
Kyle Irwin.
I'll tell you what. We're going to do. We're going to jump on that and some other really nice stuff. Here with William Wallis. Teddy's here with me. Right back and take a quick break. All Over the Road podcast.
CNN is terrible. CNN. You're with CNN? Are you with CNN? Are good. You people do not cover us accurately at all.
The All Over the Road. Listen or comment live.
Yeah, I'd like to say that Mayor Latoya Toilet basically is just terrible. She does nothing for the city. I'm scared to go to the city. I can't even go to the Saints or Pelicans game because I'm so scared to go to the damn city. I think that if we need more money in New Orleans, the way we're going to do that is to get rid of crime, and she's not doing it. And if you get rid of crime, then more people are going to come back to the city, which means, in turn, more money. And that's not going to happen with this crazy lady as mayor.
Tell me what's on your mind.
Give your opinion.
You'll be on the next podcast. So go ahead. Don't be shy. Call 504-603-6753.
Hey, this is William Wallis, my show, William Wallis for America. Thank you so much for tuning into my show, where I'm always looking for things to unite America and solutions that we can all agree on to help preserve the great country we live in. And when I'm not doing that, I'm listening to the All Over the Road podcast. And remember, sharing their podcast and my podcast is caring.
What do you think is Joe Biden's strongest feature as a competitor in politics?
Well, I would have said experience, but he doesn't really have experience because I don't think he remembers what he did yesterday. So how is that experience?
All right, welcome back to the big show. We're talking about some of the things that are in the news, hopefully giving you a unbiased, I don't know, just some kind of a slant on it. Now, there's a big... Now, Ted, you know this guy, Trostler, that's running...
Their mouth were biased. I mean, the best, you can't say anything.
You can't.
I'm going to say on one side or the other. Hey, what the heck? Yeah.
There is the guy that's running for Secretary of State. You both know him.
Yeah.
Right?
I've had Brandon on my show.
Okay. I've known Brandon for oh gosh, at least 10, 15 years. No kidding. I actually know his parents probably better.
Now, what does the Secretary of State in the state of Louisiana do?
One thing he does is he oversees the elections.
Well, you know what's interesting? He oversees the elections.
In every state.
Yeah, he oversees the elections. What's interesting is when I interviewed Kyle a while back, over a year ago, he says he protects the seal. He's in charge of the seal of Louisiana, but he oversees the elections. It's really our local registrars who are in charge of the elections in our parishes and in their districts. But he oversees the elections. He's in control of the election machines. He's in control of and no dig there at all whatsoever. He's just he oversees the whole process, and so that's what his job is.
So is this a special election? The other guy stepping away?
No,
we're voting for governor this year.
Yeah, this year's governor. This year's all statewide elections.
Statewide elections. So governor, lieutenant general.
Yeah, all the state reps
attorney
are
general,
up for
lieutenant governor, all that.
Yeah, state reps are up for your election. Yeah. This year. Although I think there's some that not all of them are up for re-election. Some are. I think are in opposite years, maybe, if how that works. So they may all be up, actually.
Who's the front runner with the governor right now? Do you know?
Landry.
Well,
is Landry out in front? In the polls
that's what we want to hear. But I've heard polls that Landry's actually slipping a little bit.
Yeah,
it depends who you ask.
To who?
To either Schroeder or
never heard of him.
John Schroeder. John Schroeder's right now. He's the secretary. He's the treasurer of Louisiana.
All right.
But John Schroeder is, he's rising in the polls a little bit, and now we've got Stephen Wackus back, who jumped in the race late a couple weeks ago, who reported he's already got $3 million. So he's got the second largest campaign war chest in the area, but people think he might have some problems because he used to be Bobby Jindal's chief of staff.
Oh, okay.
When Bobby Jindal was governor. Jeff Landry, who's got the most money and had the most popularity, who's endorsed by the Republican Party of the state Republican Party, is, I would say, probably the person that's known to be the front runner. Although when you ask whose polls, are showing who the front runner is, they say, oh, well, Landry's slipping a little bit. Whether he is or isn't, he's the perceived front runner right now. When you ask different people, I've asked several people that have given me their opinions that Schroeder's rising up a little bit. Sharon Hewitt is
these are all Republicans?
Yeah, these are all Republicans.
Yeah.
Sean Wilson is the only declared Democrat candidate for governor.
Wow.
He used to be in charge of Louisiana's highway transportation department.
Okay.
Sharon Hewitt, they're all good. Let me tell you something. I have no problem with any of them. They're all really good. They're all passionate about our state. They're all good. They all have qualifications. They have different qualifications. So Sharon Hewitt is how shall I say this? She's not raising the money that some of the other guys are raising. But she is very well liked in her area, and she's an oil and gas person. She comes from an oil and gas industry, so that's kind of her claim to fame, I'll say, because we need oil and gas to come back. She claims to have those bona fides. Richard Nelson is a state rep in St. Tammany who's a Republican. He's the underdog right now. He's not raising a lot of money, but he's out there running on getting rid of the income tax.
Right.
Okay. And so I mentioned Stephen
Good luck with that.
Yeah, exactly. And so you got Stephen Wackus. I talked about him. Hunter Lundy is going to be the Libertarian candidate, the independent candidate. Hunter Lundy is a trial attorney out of Lake Charles who is self-funding a lot of his campaign. And he's just more of a libertarian-minded kind of guy. And you listen to him, and he kind of wants to bring more everybody, all the parties together and have a great day.
Well, and Landry, he's Attorney General now, or Lieutenant Governor?
Yeah, Landry is the Attorney General now.
He got a lot of support, like when he stood up against Edwards, the governor, during the COVID and the shutdowns and stuff like that.
Yeah, and that's kind of his claim. That's kind of what makes him the front runner or coming out of the gate. The
favorite,
the favorite up front,
right?
And that's how he got his endorsement. I mean, he fought against Edwards, he fought against Biden, he fought against the mandates. So he did a lot of that, which is really popular with a lot of people on the right.
Yeah.
Well, William, we always enjoy having you on the program. We know you have a tight schedule today. There's a couple things I want to run by you real quick, though. Coming up on April the 22nd. And I believe this show will air before then, won't it, Teddy?
This
show
one?
air before April 22nd.
Yeah.
I moved down to New Orleans in the middle of my junior year of high school. So I went. I was a radio brat. My daddy, Bob Del Giorno, radio legend. Yes, from WWL. We moved around a little bit, and he got the job at WWL when I was in the middle of my junior year, and I had went to junior high school, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. And then 9th, 10th, and half of 11th, and I'm moving here, and it was a little bit of a, kind of I don't know, it was pretty upsetting for a, 17-year-old, about to be 17-year-old kid. And so I moved down here, and my dad put me into one of these little private schools that is now defunct. It was called Kehoe Academy, and really, it was an awful place. It was an awful place ran by awful people, and this is why it didn't make it. And I did not have a good experience there whatsoever. And they actually expelled me from school for a reason. I've deserved to be expelled from school many times, but this was not one of them. And it all boiled down to kind of like a political thing where, someone high up, a child at the school high up really didn't want me there because of my personality or whatever. And so I left, and I was accepted to go to this place in Metairie called Ridgewood Prep. You ever heard of Ridgewood Prep?
I've heard of Ridgewood Prep.
Okay. Well, Ridgewood Prep was around for many, many years. It was always a school that was big on country, community. There was a flag in every classroom, Pledge Allegiance. They had a Marine physical fitness team, which I was a part of as soon as they let me in. The headmaster was Mr. Montgomery, who is now in his 90s. Well, just recently, and I only went there for one semester, but they were really, really good to me. I had a great experience there. And the school has just closed. Well, on April the 22nd, at the location on Jeffrius in Metairie, we're having a fundraiser and an auction. I'm going to be the MC and the auctioneer. I was the class of 79 there. And we're going to be trying to raise some money because we're going to reopen the school. All boys, K through 8th. It's going to be a school that's going to be based on the Constitution. It's going to be based on God, America, God bless America, God. Learn how to shake hands with a man and look him in the eye. Pledge of Allegiance. It's something I think that's sorely needed in this city.
Absolutely.
Okay. And so I would like for you all to join us there. And show your support. That's going to be April the 22nd, 7 p.m. at Ridgewood High School. I wanted to plug that. Now,
send me something on that. And I will make sure I'll do my best to be there.
Yeah, and of course, all of month, before I let you go, I wanted to, because, I would like for you to maybe be involved in this if you can.
I'd love to.
The month that we did this year before last, we didn't do it last year, but year before last, we had a mental health awareness month on the podcast. It was all of May. We had people coming on telling their stories of tragedy, overcoming adversity.
Is it 2 years ago already?
Yeah.
Jeez.
My friend Ted here, who I've known for 40 some odd years, and we doing this podcast together for a long time.
Yeah.
Hopefully we're going to do a show with him where he's going to tell his story about losing his daughter to suicide, a darling young girl named Marcy, who I knew since the day she was born.
Yeah.
And we really want to, because here's the deal. I was in Nashville when the shooting took place. And when these incidents take place in this country, now this is Victor Del Giorno's opinion, okay? This is what the media does with it. There's a shooting. There's something that happens. It's either this. This is who's to blame. The gun's to blame. The gun's too easy to get is to blame. Hate crimes are to blame. Bullying is to blame. What else? What are the things that they blame things on?
They blame, narratives. It's all narratives.
About narratives. But
everything but.
Right. But the problem is mental health. Before we start paying for kids to go to college for free, okay? I think a college education for free is something you should earn. It's not something you should get. You need to be an extraordinary student to go to college for free. It's called a scholarship, okay? Not everybody should go to college for free. This Biden moron wants to send people to college for free. Before you do that, we should make mental health care available for every American. That means you need to go talk to somebody. It's free.
Right.
And you don't throw freaking drugs at it. I'm not saying there's not a place for drugs, but it just boils down to this. And of course, the great John Piper, and I just want to close with this, and then we're going to take a break and we're going to talk to 504 gal, which ought to be a gas. Yeah. And also coming up on a future show, we're going to be talking to this lady, Liz, whose son was on that show, Love is Blind. It's a great show. It's on Netflix. Right. It's called Love is Blind. We're going to talk to her, but this is the great Piper.
Now who's John Piper?
John Piper is a pastor.
I think I know, but just for people who may not know.
He's a pastor in Minnesota.
Yeah.
He's an author. He's written several books. He's a man that has struggled with mental health his entire life. He has written the most powerful books that you'll ever read. And he put this out and I think just kind of explains it. So I'm going to read it to you. And like I said, these things that are taking place people are sick. They're sick. And there may be reasons why they're sick. They may have been through something. And of course, now if you're sick, there's all kinds of support for you being sick. And there's all kinds of support to reacting the way some of these people are reacting. I mean, there's people on the web that say, hey, let's go shoot people.
But you know what, too? I'm going to inject to something real quick. It's there's something else besides the sickness of it or the illness of it. We have a society right now that breeds complacency. There are people, there's a term called quietly quitting. where people are working just enough to get by. They're working as little as they can, or go to school. It's paid for. It's an attack on our work ethic. I actually did a podcast on this, and think about this: when our country promoted a work ethic, get a job. If that's not enough, get a second job.
Right.
Get a job, have a second job, build a career, build a family, buy a house, create a living, pay off your debts, live responsibly. It comes with work ethic. And when you have a good work ethic, you also have a great family. You're working together with each other, and mental illness has a harder chance in a situation like that to present itself in a dangerous way. I'm just giving one example,
I think that's very well said.
A small example.
Yeah.
And I think some of the reason why we're seeing more mental illness in our country isn't because of, I think we need to increase treatment, but it's because our country has changed to where it's frowned on to work more. That we have an attack on work ethic. We have an attack on families.
When there's no right or wrong.
Exactly. Right.
When there's
becomes a mental illness. Right. And as a result, I think that's one aspect of why we're seeing a rise in mental illness. And, because there's been a attack on work ethic, on family and togetherness. And everybody's fending for themselves and feels alone instead of that community. Like when you work a lot, you're in a community at a job with other people. You've got that camaraderie. But when you're not working or you're just doing what needs to survive, you're at home a lot by yourself. And if you have mental illness and you're alone,
Well, Benjamin Franklin said that, we have a union here if we can keep it. And, the thing is that this is all based on a moral society. And if there's no morality, none of it can work. But this is what John Piper said about it. And let me say this to you. I have struggled with mental illness my entire life. Teddy will tell you, we worked in Amarillo together doing a morning show. That was when I was at my worst. So Teddy saw me at my worst. And Teddy will tell you, I was a mess. And I still struggle with it. I do. There's some days I get up, I don't even want to get out of bed. And so if you're someone that struggles with mental illness, and you're going to want to catch all the shows that we're going to do in May. And if you're someone like me that struggles with mental illness, I want you to listen to what John Piper said. This is a brother that has been struggling with it his entire life. And this is what he writes. He says, "My feelings are not God. God is God. My feelings do not define truth. God's word defines truth. My feelings are echoes and responses to what my mind perceives. And sometimes, many times, my feelings are out of sync with the truth. When that happens, and it happens every day in some measure, I try not to bend the truth. Listen, I try not to bend the truth to justify my imperfect feelings, but rather I plead with God, purify my perceptions of your truth and transform my feelings to that they are in sync with the truth." John Piper, finally alive. And that's it. And this is, my brother Michael, who's been on the show many times, is going through something right now. I gave this to him. He's got it framed on his nightstand. And he gets up every morning and he reads this out loud like it's a pledge. This should be the pledge. So be sure to join us in May for Mental Health Awareness Month. William, thank you very much.
Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate it.
William Wallis for America.
Freedom.
Available on all podcast platforms.
Hey, maybe we'll see you on the 22nd. Hey, come on out and see us.
I want to be on the 22nd.
It's all over the road, the podcast. You'll be laughing in a minute. Don't worry. I don't care what people tell you. Inflation is here. They're about ready to put a tax on beef, a tax on pork. Have you seen the price of milk? Inflation is here. Shortages are here. And financially, you got to figure out what the heck you're going to do with excess cash. They call it discretionary income. Well, the best thing that you need to do is to contact our friends at Coin Trader Inc. They deal in all the precious metals, rare coins. It's completely private. You don't need a social security number. You could be Bozo the Clown and open an account with Coin Trader. They've been around for 15 years. They have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Call them today and protect your hard-earned wealth. Gold, silver, platinum, palladium. and rare U.S. and ancient coins. They're experts in all that stuff. Give them a call at 504-267-6004 and tell them the king of all podcasts sent you. Welcome back to the big show. You know what? A lot of times, I was never on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson. A lot of people don't even know who Johnny Carson is anymore. But on the Tonight Show and Johnny Carson.
You were never on the Tonight?
I was never on the Tonight Show. Okay. I went to the Tonight Show when Johnny was there.
Did you?
I've been in the audience.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I was never on the Tonight Show. And now, of course, that show is done by Jimmy Fallon. Very funny man.
Yeah.
And a lot of times when they do these shows, sometimes they run a little long, and you might be in the green room, and you don't make it on the show. So
you get bumped.
You get bumped. And that's what's and NOLA Gal is going to get bumped because we spent so much time talking about it. So, William, thank you for joining us. So we're going to have NOLA Gal on the next show.
Yeah, 504 Gal. But before though, let's take just a couple of minutes to just a quick update on the teeth, because we did say you wanted to do that. And just, a quick one.
Well, on the next show, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go into more detail about the banana. I have my pictures here where they took pictures of my esophagus and my abdomen. I was having extreme pain with my abdomen.
Yeah.
I mean, really to the point where it was really unbearable. And I didn't know what was going on. I went and had this done this week. They took some biopsies, and they're going to kind of let me know what's going on in there. Fortunately, all my organs are healthy: liver, lungs, kidneys, pancreas.
Everything
fine.
checked out. That's good.
Everything checked out good, but I didn't really get any answers. I'm supposed to be getting those answers. But the pain was so bad, and no one. It was so funny.
So wait, the banana stuck in your appendix or something? What's the deal?
I'll tell you. It's on the next show. It's on the next
show.
If you want to hear NOLA Gal and you want to hear about the banana and all this, you got to listen to the next show.
Wait a minute. Just earlier the show, he was talking about putting his hands in his pants. I mean, is that a banana?
Well, I mean, we only got so much time here. The podcast people say you go over 40 minutes, it's too long.
Yeah.
But I'm not Joe Rogan. But the bottom line was is this extreme pain. Can I get a hallelujah from somebody?
Hallelujah.
Oh, Lord.
Yes.
So anyway, we're praying. And so Martha says, well, why don't we pray for your condition before 8 o'clock?
Mm-hmm.
So right before that, I feel it right now.
Hallelujah.
I'm falling up.
I'm bumping up.
Okay, so we
praise the Lord.
Amen, brother. So we start praying for my condition.
Yeah.
Okay, and
is it at the hospital?
No, it was down there by the TV.
Oh, down there by the TV, like in the house.
Yeah. Awesome. Down there by the. Oh, feeling. I'm feeling. I'm feeling. Break out into something. I feel like dancing.
I'm feeling.
All right.
I feel like doing a little skip. Somebody throw a sheet over me. I don't want anybody to see my panties. So anyway, no, this is no joke. This is a testimony. So the next morning I wake up and the pain's gone. Okay, so now at that point I could say, well, I feel better, but I'm not well. I'm not well. I know I'm not well, but I'm not feeling any pain right now. But I'm just, I know I'm not well, but I'm not. Thank you, Lord, that I'm not feeling any pain right now. And that was my opportunity to either accept the healing or not. I'm serious, people. I'm dead serious. And I freaking grabbed that thing and I ran with it. And I haven't had an episode.
He's still running.
Oh! I've had no pain. No! Since that hallelujah, I feel like a new man. He done it for me. He'll do it for you.
That's right.
Yes, indeed.
That's right.
I feel like I'm on the top of the rock. Come on.
Come on. That's right. I feel it.
Hallelujah.
Come on.
Yeah.
I'm completely 100% here.
All right.
And if you don't serve a God that heals, you ain't serving the right God.
That's right.
Let me just tell you that right now, okay?
And on that note,
on the next show, bring yourself a hanky.
That's right.
Bring yourself a hanky. William, thanks, baby.
Thank you, man, for having me on. Always.
You're welcome. Tell your boy I said hi.
I will.
You're having dinner with your son tonight.
Oh, yeah.
Tell him I said hello. Tell him I'm a big fan because he's your son.
Awesome.
Teddy.
There you go.
Thanks again, buddy.
And don't forget my daughters. My daughters are awesome, too.
Well, they're done. Okay, well, good. Say hello to your daughters, too. All Over the Road is, of course, recorded in front of a live studio audience.
Yep.
And we appreciate you listening. Don't forget, the most important thing you can do for us, people, is to share the show. Because Harry...
No, you got it wrong.
What?
Sharing. You said caring.
Oh, wait.
Sharing is caring. There you go. That's the way it goes.
I finally got it right.
There you go.
Something happened here, Ted. What is this? Did I hit a button? Is something wrong?
I hope not.
Coming from Coin Trader Studios, we're bringing it live. And who am I? I go by the name of Darkest Night. And Jada Hoyos is the one who brings a sick beat, to which we're getting pumped for topics this week. So let me grab my grape soda and take a sip, while I turn it over to Katie, Nick, Ted, and Vic. It's all over. We're all over the road. We got a brand new show, so just lo and behold, from the bayou to the city to the burbs to the swamps, you better know what time it is when you're hearing that.
All Over the Road New Orleans is brought to you by CoinTrader Inc. For real-time prices on gold, silver, palladium, and platinum 24/7, go to goldpricesnow.com. That's goldpricesnow.com.
We thank you all. This is the announcer guy speaking. For 4 seasons and All Over the Road, the podcast, New Orleans.